I tried to make a few points today during my presentation, about 5 or 6 points. And the number one point was a positive point, that the markets have recovered from the 2008 financial crisis and consumers are traveling again. That's great news. They might have changed a little bit from a 12-day vacation into a 10-day vacation, or from a 5-star hotel into a 4-star hotel, but they are traveling, they are spending the money. Good news, that's number one. Number two, the point that I wanted to make in the presentation is that the biggest growth, so the biggest opportunity for the countries around the Mediterranean is the online travel market. The bookings that people make on the website, on the internet, versus the traditional channels like going through a travel agent or a tour operator or picking up the phone. They make the bookings online. That's where the growth is. That's where the people in the audience, hotels, airlines, incoming tour operators, or the National Tourism Office, that's where they can score. That was number two. And number three is what I wanted to get across is, so how can you get, how do you get your message across? As in Tunisia or as in Djerba, for example, how can they reach the client where they make the most chance that they come to your destination? And it's clear that it's the internet, it's the website. And so I give a few tools and strategies how you can be most successful in your internet strategy. Then I talked about social media and the significant impact that social media right now has on the destination decision and the hotel decision, the air decision. And finally I talked about mobile travel, where my company is focused, right? My company believes that the mobile travel revolution which is going on is very comparable and maybe even more significant than the internet explosion that we had in the 1990s. The numbers that I showed were especially focused on Europe, and in a global picture I would say that's not necessarily so. It differs per area. I would say two things. First, a warning. Often when you start something new, then management tends to be very careful and talks about ROI. And that's always a killer. If you start something new, you have to try out. You have to give some leadway that you experiment with certain strategies. And so you build a new website, or you build your first mobile app. And it's okay if the first time it's not the best. That's fine. And management has to give that leeway to the marketing department, to work on those new technologies. So that's the first one. So that you have to have management buy-in, that they okay. Then, depending on your budget, you really have to adjust your online strategies to your particular countries, because German travelers are looking for different things than French travelers, than US travelers, or China travelers. So you have to adjust the message, the language, the content. What can you do in Djerba? Might be totally different for a German traveler than for a US traveler. So those are a few of the things. Then you can have either try to build the knowledge and experience in-house, or of course you can reach out to an agency. Now there are many agencies in this area, and a lot of them are so-called experts. Just take a good look, because I think there are more people claiming to be an expert than there are actually experts. And when it comes to social media, I would argue that it's so new. I don't think there are real experts yet, but there are people with insights and some experience. And if you look what they have produced for other destinations or for other hotel chains, if you look what they did, and you feel comfortable with and excited with what they did, that would be the company that I would work with. So you could start with an outsider, with an agency, and learn. And eventually you could try to hire and train your own people. I would like to give 3 examples, 3 destinations that I think have really done a good job. Queensland in Australia did an amazing social media campaign on YouTube, and I would check that out. So Queensland tourism. That's one example. Montreal.
It's one of the best job of the.
That's correct. That's correct. Yeah. And we had them as a speaker at one of our conferences, and they really knew what they were doing. Interesting, a very interesting case study. 2, Montreal, the Montreal, in Quebec, Canada. They have an amazing website with videos, photos, interactive maps. Plus, they are very active also on social media. Yeah, I would check them out, and they have a great mobile app. Number 2. Number 3, I would look, not that I am from Holland, from the Netherlands, but the Netherlands Board of Tourism also has an amazing website. I cannot take credit for it, my successor did it, so therefore I can mention this, but that's so the Netherlands Board of Tourism of Holland, their website actually is hollands.com. Finally, I would take a look at 2 companies, JetBlue, an airline in the US, and Virgin Atlantic Airways, how they interact on Twitter. And I think that every destination or hotel can really learn from how they engage with their prospects or with their clients. It's amazing how what they do, and I think everybody in the travel industry should be familiar with their Twitter strategies to get a good feel.